So today's video is going to be a step-by-step tutorial on how to do the shirred panel for the back of the Priscilla dress. Okay, so first, my pattern piece is already cut out, and yours will look a little different. I added a couple things to it. So this is the folded edge, and this is going to be the top of your Priscilla dress. And so we're just going to iron this flat and then sew 1/4 of an inch away from this folded edge, and that's going to be for an elastic casing to keep it nice and close to your back when the dress is finished. All right, so first you're going to iron along here. Okay, that's ironed, and we're going to take it to the machine and just do a regular straight stitch along the top. Now we're just going to press this. All right, now we have our elastic casing. All right, so now that we have this done, we're going to start our shirring. To start your shirring, you're going to want to mark up 5/8 of an inch from the bottom, because that's going to be your stop, because it's going to be your seam allowance. And then we're going to mark in between that 1/4 of an inch lines all the way down to do our shirring. Okay, and then we'll just follow those guides. I don't mark my fabric. I just use 1/4 of an inch foot on my sewing machine, and then I just use that as my guide. So if you want to mark your lines, you can do that now. I'm just gonna do it with my foot on my machine, with my sewing machine. To begin your shirring, you're gonna need your elastic thread. I like the slightly thicker elastic thread that they sell on Amazon in this big roll. I've had this since 2020, and I shirr all the time. I do this all the time, so it lasts a really long time. And my machine likes the thicker, my machine likes this thicker one a little better, and it holds up in the wash a little better than the thinner kind that you can get from like Gutermann and stuff. Okay, so to start, you're gonna want to hand wind this on your bobbin. Some machines, people say that you can wind it on your machine, but I just do it by hand on mine. Okay, so once you have your bobbin wound, you're just going to stick it in your machine like you would any other bobbin. And then you're going to put your needle down and pull the shirring elastic, the elastic thread up like this, and leave it tail. Okay. So each row has to be 1/2 inch away from each other. I'm not marking my fabric. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to set my needle position to where this edge here is 1/2 inch away from my needle. So my needle is here, and then the edge of my presser foot is 1/2 inch away from the needle. And that's how I'm going to guide my fabric through instead of doing the lines. I have my stitch length set to a 4.6 on my machine, and a length of, yeah, that's it. And then my needle is over. And then, so this is so this right here is the line for our elastic casing where our flat elastic's gonna go in, and we're gonna start 1/2 inch away from this line down. So we're gonna line that up over here, and we're gonna start within the 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, and just put your needle down. And then you can either pull your elastic thread back up and then tie it off, but I'm not actually going to do that. I'm just going to back stitch and hold it in place, and then you just sew straight down with a straight stitch. and then stop within your seam allowance. And then I'm going to do a back stitch instead of tying off, and put your needle up, and remember to leave the tails for your elastic thread for the next row. It's going to look like that. And then we're going to start our next row, and we're going to do that the same way. We're going to line up this line from our previous row with the edge of my presser foot. And then you're just going to continue that down to the bottom, and you're going to stop at 5/8 of an inch away from this bottom edge. Okay, and then also if you mess up and you have to unpick it, if your line is just a little wavy, when you get done ironing it, you're probably not going to see it, so just leave that. That's probably going to be fine. But if you mess up bad and you have to unpick, the easiest way to unpick is to just pull this out and trim your threads every, like, I don't know, maybe 2 inches on the front all the way across. And then when you turn it over, you can just pull the elastic threads out, and then you can use an eraser just to erase those threads out from the top, and then you can just re-sew it, because the steam from your iron, after you iron it back flat, it should like close up all of those little holes in your fabric, unless you just have something like, you know, really thin that you're using, then you should be fine to do that. I've never had a problem doing it that way. So just, you know, cut every few inches, and then you can just pull this elastic thread and it'll just pop right out. Okay, so you're going to just continue this all the way down to the bottom. And then this is what it looks like on the back. Right here, the back. And then this is the front, and we're just going to take this and we're going to steam it, and it's going to shrink it up. Okay, so here's our panel. So you're going to want to get your iron and fill it full of water, and then set it to the highest setting that your fabric will allow. And then you're just going to hold it over the fabric without actually touching, and then just let the steam get it. And it'll just shrink it up like that. And then if your lines are a little wavy, no one really sees it. See right there, it's like a little wavy. You see that? But it's fine. No one's gonna know. Okay, so there is your shirring panel. And now we're just going to insert the elastic into this casing here. So you're going to need, your pattern has a chart on it, and it's going to tell you what size of elastic, like length, to cut, and that's just kind of a guide, and then you adjust it to match your shirring, because each machine is a little different. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so on the chart I'm making the size 8, so I'm going to cut a 6-inch piece of elastic. Let's see, this is, and then my elastic is just the 1/4 of an inch flat elastic. So alright, so that's what it should look like. You should have your elastic to where it's nice and like rectangular shaped. Because if your elastic is too long in your back for your size or for the amount of shirring that you did, so like your shirring is like this and then your elastic is like this, you would just want to pull it until it's nice and straight. Mine actually worked out really good, so But depending on your fabric and the amount of like shrinking in it does, yours might not be, okay? And then you're just gonna baste your elastic in place so it doesn't come out. And this is gonna be the top of your panel, okay? And that is all that you do for the shirring on the back of your dress. So I hope this was helpful, and if you have any questions, you can just send me an email or leave a comment or find me on Instagram and ask me there, okay? Okay, bye. All right, so thanks for watching. Bye.